Electric vehicles. It is a topic that has become more credible. It's gone beyond lip service now, and we are starting to see some very real-world action when it comes to this space, not just globally, but yes, here in India too. And one brand that has been at the forefront of all of this globally and is now wanting to do exactly that here in our market is Hyundai Motor. Speaking with me about this is Tarun Garg, who's joining us on Car and Bike. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Siddharth. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
And it's nice to do a real-world interview
yes,
after a long
finally.
time. So thank you for your time. The topic that I mentioned at the start, of course, is the reason why we are here today. Significant announcements coming from Hyundai. I think you have now taken your time to, I think, research this, understand what is required, and you've laid out a roadmap. First thing that will interest our viewers, most exciting, is the fact that you've said 6 BEVs, battery electric vehicles, by 2028 in the market. Why 6? What is the background that has gone into this decision?
Right. So we're very happy to make this announcement. We believe very strongly that as a part of our Beyond Mobility campaign and sustainability being a very key pillar, we have to really look at cleaner mobility in a much more stronger way. Of course, we take pride that 2019 when we launched the Kona, the EVs were only being talked about in India, and we were able to really launch a product with a range as big as 450 kilometers and in an SUV body type. And that really helped us to really study the market, to look at what are the teething issues and see, yes, now we are ready to make this announcement of 6 BEVs. Look, when you talked about why 6, what kind of BEVs, I would say that, as you know, the market is really shifting towards SUVs. Today, SUVs are contributing 37% to the overall market. So we are looking at SUVs, CUVs, as well as sedans when I talk about these 6 BEVs. A very important fact here is that what are the platforms we are looking at. So Siddharth, here I'd like to tell you that, as you know, that we have Hyundai Motor Group has an E-GMP platform, which is Electric Global Modular Platform, which has some unique advantages.
This is one.
Yes, which has some very unique advantages, not only in terms of the modularity, because it really helps us to give you different body types, different lengths, weights, etc., but also in terms of usability. When I talk about usability, what I mean is a very good flexible interior space, because the HVAC is really pushed into the engine compartment, and then you can have those sliding consoles, you can have a flat roof, you can have a slim cockpit. In terms of performance, we're talking about a maximum speed of 260 kilometers per hour. We're talking about a range which can go up to maybe 800 kilometers in Indian conditions. So there's a lot of course, reliability, performance, everything is there. At the same time, we also understand that probably the localization level would really take time to come when we talk about the E-GMP platform. So we are also looking at some of the IC-derived platforms for these BEVs, and where we can get a quick localization and probably because affordability is very important when we're talking about BEVs as well. So probably you can say that these 6 BEVs will have 50% from the E-GMP platform and 50% from the IC-derived platforms, and a mixture of mass and mass premium, and a mixture of SUVs, CUVs, and sedans.
Now, the ICE-derived platform that you're talking about, I mean, the Kona is a good example of that already. Is the Kona one of the 6?
I would say yes, total portfolio of BEVs will be 6 by 2028.
Okay. And, when it comes to the ICE side of things, of course, you have more than one platform that's already under production. And your advantage would be the high current local levels that you already have, localization levels that you already have. So we're talking about possibly more than one platform. It doesn't have to be just that one ICE platform.
Right. Because like I said, there are some advantages of IC derived that because we already have a localization. At the same time, for every new model, it's a new platform we're talking about. So we'll see. Like already mentioned, that there are some options available. So we are really studying them, and then of course we'll decide that yes, how many platforms will as far as IC derived platforms BEVs is concerned.
Tarun, you mentioned CUV, SUV, sedan, but you didn't mention hatchback. It's still a large part of your overall volume portfolio as things stand today. So going forward, is that something that flexibility could kick in depending on where the market goes, what the consumer preferences are, or you're very clear about the fact that it would be sedan, SUV, CUV that will drive it?
Look, I would say like as of now, this is the plan we have, and it is based on some data and some facts. If you see today, when you see the January to November market, SUVs are contributing 37.2% to the overall market, and hatches are now 40% to the overall market. Who would have imagined this 5 years back. So the Indian customer, frankly speaking, is really evolving in a big way towards SUVs. That said, like I said, the advantage of our E-GMP platform is that it gives us a lot of flexibility. So we are saying, as of now, the plan is SUVs, CUVs, and sedans. At the same time, in case we feel that yes, there a market exists, then we'll definitely study that.
So tell me this, now when it comes to that mass end of the EV offering, you've mentioned there will be mass and mass premium. That mass product, is there a sort of a body style target? Is there a price point target? Is there a particular part of India? Is it a tier 2, tier 3 kind of a product? What's your overall strategy because that development is clearly very India-centric?
Right. So that's a very important question, and I would say there are a couple of key things when a customer is deciding about buying an EV based on our market research. The first is, of course, the range. And on the range, we believe that probably a mass market EV also should have a range of about 350 kilometers.
As a minimum threshold.
So this is what we are really looking at. At the same time, we are also looking at not only giving him that range, but also giving him a home charging at home. We're also looking at some strategic partnerships to develop a public charging infrastructure net for charging is concerned. So that is one part of it. On the affordability, look, EVs are, of course, new to India, but globally, frankly, EVs have been there. And what we find is that in some countries, because of the support from the government, the price of petrol or diesel or EVs or hybrids, etc., is more or less similar, and the customer can decide, what he wants to buy. That's like an ideal situation, but that also requires some good incentives coming from the government. In India, that for us also that would be an ideal situation, but in the absence of FAME2 incentives, we feel that still, we have to really make it affordable.
Those incentives could happen, though. I mean, we can always hope that they... But that will be a bonus, you're saying. You're not making your plans based on this.
No, I would say that it, because the costs, as you know, the material costs are still high, the battery costs are still high. So there are a lot of ifs and buts about it. At the same time, we know that affordability is a key factor. Yeah. So as Hyundai, it is our responsibility to ensure that we can be as affordable as possible. So it's still very difficult to really say that, okay, this is the price band we are talking about, but we'll try to keep it as affordable as possible. That is what I can say.
But by today's market prices, and that's why I say today's, because by 2025, 28, the market will be different. There's been so much talk about, especially in the media, I know, about a sub 10 lakh electric vehicle. Is that possible?
Look, I cannot say that it is possible, but I would say that, okay, let us take some benchmarks today in terms of petrol. When I see, say, for example, Creta, so the average Creta price is about 15 lakh rupees. So today, even a petrol or a diesel Creta is costing somewhere close to 15 lakh rupees. So to assume that we can come lower than that probably is very difficult, I would say, as of now.
And in volume terms, 10 to 15 is a real sweet spot. I mean, even today, as things stand.
Like I said, the customers have really evolved, and frankly speaking, sometimes we believe that maybe they are willing to compromise, but not. I think Indian customer does not want to really compromise as far as space is concerned, as far as features is concerned, and range also, because the price also depends on the range. Sure. As I already mentioned to you, because as the range goes up, the cost goes up. So if we are talking about a range of 350 kilometers, then probably I don't think it's right to really talk about a sub 10 lakh rupees as far as EV is concerned.
That's fair. No, I understand where you're coming from. And the good part is that especially with this platform, I know there is the modularity, even in the battery pack. The number of cells versus, the size or scale or range that you're looking at for the final product. Now, one of the questions that obviously comes to mind is about economies of scale. The more you have that, the better it will be in terms of affordability and, just the proposition you can bring to market. What part of this strategy, since you're looking all the way up to 2028, what part of it really takes into account what would happen from a Hyundai Motor Group perspective in India?
Look, like I said, as of now, I mean, this is the plan as far as Hyundai Motor India is concerned. Of course, it will require a lot of support from the Hyundai Motor Company, our parent company, and like I told you about the E-GMP platform. So those are the decisions which, of course, the Hyundai Motor Company will take. For India, I would say that we are really looking at a couple of aspects. One is, like I said, in terms of IC derived, where we already have that localization advantage. So that's, I think, a big advantage. Number two, to bring the cost down, we are in talks with various international global players as well as domestic players that how we can really reduce the import and improve the localization. Because to do a manufacturing here, you will, and to bring the cost down, that will be a very key fact. Because if you see last 25 years, one big reason for success for Hyundai Motor India is ability to really develop that kind of a supply chain network in India. So we have to make a beginning there. So a lot of things are happening on that front. As of now, I would say that we are really looking at in talks, with many players on not only in terms of battery cell, but also in terms of the other components as well. The E-GMP platform, the advantage is there's a lot of component sharing. So I think we'll see that how we can really keep the cost as low as possible.
But E-GMP, of course, is specific to HMG. When you say you're in talks with other players, that includes other OEMs as well? Because I understand battery could still be a very, a common sort of a usage.
Look, every OEM would have a different strategy, and I would say that there are, of course, so many Korean players, there are so many Chinese players, there are so many, players. So we are looking at all options and see how we can get, the maximum synergy between HMI and the player is concerned.
No, that's great, because that will accelerate the localization for sure. One last area which I want to talk about is the production end of it. Obviously, your plan takes that into consideration in terms of how these cars would be made, where they would be made, and the kind of volume projections that you might have internally, which I know you won't tell us today. But the Chennai plant, as things stand, this 2028 plan, is that plant enough?
Look, there are two aspects to it. One is feasibility. Can we produce these BEVs in the Chennai plant? Yes.
Because these 6 cars you've talked about all have some form of local content, right? Then none of them are CBUs.
No, of course. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So we have already done a feasibility that our Chennai plant currently can produce these BEVs. So that is the first part of the question. The second part of the question is relating to the capacity. Now that's, I think, a totally different issue altogether. And like we have said earlier, and I would repeat that, we believe that as of now, we have enough capacity to take care of the next couple of years. And as and when we feel that, yes, the need has come for improving our capacity, increasing our capacity, I mean, why not? We will definitely, do that.
But do you see a scenario, last question I promised, do you see a scenario where you could have, especially given the way that, the percentage of BEVs is only going to go up, could your next plant be a BEV specific plant?
Too early to comment on that. I would say that because the first thing was to see the feasibility, and I'm very happy that yes, our production and our supply chain is very flexible. That yes, they have said given a green signal that yes, this plant can produce IC as well as BEVs.
All right. Well, it's exciting, and I have to tell you that I can't wait to see these vehicles coming out. You have promised the first one by 2022, so we look forward to it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Siddharth. Thank you very much.